Hey guys, Sleepy Justin here. Season 3 of Tekken 7 launched just a couple days ago. So today we're going to take a quick look at some of the new changes to Akuma. Season 3 is still like brand new. So later on I'll probably post something a bit more optimized and comprehensive. But for now I'm just going to go over his changes and kind of give my first impressions on them and what they mean for the character going forward. Forgive me if I ramble on a little bit. I don't usually record my raw voiceover for this sort of thing, but I'm gonna try to keep it as short and sweet as possible. So with that said, let's just get into it. So the first thing here, and easily the biggest change in my opinion. If you saw the original Season 3 trailer, you already saw this, but he can now combo into his Rage Art off a screw attack. So it's pretty nice. Before, it was kind of situational. You had to have a wall splat to combo into Raging Demon. So you either had to be right at the wall, or you had to carry them to the wall and then do a wall combo into it, or what have you. But now, as long as you can do the screw attack for the combo, and as long as you can input the Raging Demon input, you can combo right into it. I think this is a huge deal. Before, on an infinite stage, Akuma was kind of significantly weaker because, he couldn't combo into the Raging Demon. He had to have a wall. But now, as long as you can, access the screw in your combo, that option is always on the table. The only difference between his Rage Art now and everybody else's Rage Art as far as comboing into them goes is that it has to be the screw attack part of the combo for Akuma. He can't just launch and go straight into it for extra damage like a lot of characters can. Even if I did the highest launcher, it's still not going to connect. You can see there it tried to register it, but it just doesn't. It just goes right through him. So it does have to be a corkscrew. But other than that, other than just making sure that that you save your corkscrew for the demon at the end of the combo, this is a huge deal. This will make closing out rounds, as long as Akuma has Rage, a lot easier, because you don't have to worry about if you're at the wall or not. You just don't have to worry about your positioning to get the extra damage that a Rage Art gives you in a combo. I've already seen some pretty crazy stuff on Twitter, especially involving wall breaks. You spin 2 meters at the wall, break the wall, and then do your corkscrew move and go straight into Raging Demon. So this will open up a lot of new routes. It'll make closing out rounds a lot easier, since it's a lot easier just combo right into Raging Demon without having to worry about your positioning and where the wall is and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's a big buff. Alright, so the next couple changes almost aren't even worth mentioning, but I'm going to. They nerfed the damage on his fireballs. His regular fireballs now do 12 damage instead of 14. They nerfed him by 2 points. I really don't know why they bothered, to be honest with you. Quarter Circle Forward 1 and Quarter Circle Forward 2 do 12 instead of 14. Half Circle Back 1 does 13 instead of 15. Half Circle Back 2 does the same that it's always done. But his regular fireballs and the charged fireball with 1 have been nerfed by 2 points. Like I said, I really don't know why they bothered. This is completely insignificant outside of maybe a couple edge case scenarios, you get hit with the fireball at the end of the round and you had 15 points of life left. You might have 3 points of life left instead of just a pixel or something. A couple edge case scenarios as far as closing the round with a fireball it might affect, but that's about it. His combos that involve them still hit as hard as ever. I dropped that one, but you get the idea. He hits as hard as he always does in combos, so they really don't affect his combo damage. He might do like 3% less or something minimal. Like I said, it's a nerf, but it's pretty insignificant. It's not really going to change much for him at all. And then his Tatsu, Quarter Circle Back 4, also got nerfed by 2 points. So this does 13 damage instead of 15, and that's only referring to the first hit. The second 2 hits do the same damage they've always done. So overall, it does still like 2 points less damage. Again, a really insignificant change. Overall, it's really not going to change much in the grand scheme of things for him. Speaking of the Tatsu, I do have to bring up, this seems to be a stealth change. It's not in the official patch notes on Tekken World Tour website. I saw somebody on Twitter mention that it was in the PDF file. When I downloaded the PDF file, I couldn't read it. The buttons, like the symbols that represented the buttons, just like didn't appear correctly on my phone, so I wasn't able to read the PDF file. But now that Season 3 is here, and I've gotten to test it, it is true. Heavy Tatsu is now negative 15 on block, meaning it's launch punishable. Meaning you don't want to have this blocked. You're gonna get launched for it. Let's see. And so this is kind of a nerf. This is a pretty big deal for me personally. Before with Akuma, what you could do a lot of times, if the opponent's being really aggressive and up in your face and you're getting pressured, was that you could throw out like down 1-2, cancel it into Tatsu, and if it counter hit, you would get them off you and you would do a little bit of damage. And if they blocked it, you'd get punished, but it was only negative 14. So only some characters could launch punish it, and most characters would just get like, a little bit of damage. But now, just about any character can't. If you throw that out and it doesn't counter hit, you are gonna go for a ride. I'm sure there's some crazy Tekken gods out there that can visually confirm whether or not the first 2 hits are counter hit. Whether or not the first hit is counter hit before they do the Tatsu, but personally I think that's too fast. I'm never going to be able to do that, so now it's going to be a lot riskier to throw out down 1-2 heavy Tatsu. So next up is just plain standing 1, just the regular old 10 frame jab. Reduced the strength of the pushback and made the move easier to land. So all this means is just that there's a little less pushback and on hit and on block. So you're going to be a little closer to them. So that's kind of good, I guess. You're only like +1 on hit for this, so it's not that big a deal putting you closer, but it's okay, I guess. Made the move easier to land. I'm not really sure what that means, because it's just a jab. It's not hard to land. The only thing I could think of that it could possibly mean is to do like run up jab, float combos. Those might be like a little easier, but to me they seem about the same as they always have. So all in all, not that big a deal, but if it is easier, that's good. That'll make combos more consistent, but right now I'm not noticing much difference. Next is forward 3. Change the frame advantage when blocked from -9 to -4 frames. So this isn't a big change. It's a little less negative on block, but before it wasn't really punishable or anything, so it's not that big of a difference, but it is a little better, I guess. The big deal with this move though is change the frame advantage upon hit from +1 frames to +7. So when it hits, you're +7 now instead of just being +1, which is pretty good. This has always been kind of one of his better pokes, even if it's not a whole lot of damage. It's pretty long range and it's safe. But now it's like a really good poke, because if it hits, you're now +7 and up in their face. I wouldn't say it's completely airtight. I'm sure if you hit this and then you go for like a sweep or something, they can probably hop kick you and crush it, something to that extent. But still, +7 on hit's pretty good. So that you know, this is definitely like one of his best long-range pokes now. It closes distance, and if it hits, you are now +7. Forward 4, this is a big one. Forward 4 is now, instead of -9, it's -5 on block. That's not, again, it wasn't punishable before, but now it's a little less negative. So it's, I mean, that's better, but not very significant. Shorten the recovery time after the move hits by 4 frames. I don't know how significant that's going to be. You might be able to run up and get like some Oki situations, but I don't think that's going to change much. The big deal with this move, though, is change the opponent's behavior when the move lands as a counter hit. I'm going to keep saying that a lot. The big deal with this move, because it seems that a lot of them have multiple changes. But change the opponent's behavior when the move lands as a counter hit. I was scared all week reading the patch notes that they were gonna take away the counter hit combo from this. Before, if it counter hit, you got a screw attack, and you got to run up and get some wall carry and get a combo off it. So I was really scared they were just gonna take away the combo off this. But instead, now instead of screwing, it leaves them in a crumple state. So now you can get a full combo off this instead of having to go straight for your ender. I'm not sure what the optimal option off this is yet. Probably something like this. You know, you might be able to squeeze a bit more damage off that, but I believe before it did like 54 or something, maybe 57. So it's not a ton more damage, but it is something. You are still getting more damage. I think it is a little less carry, though. I think before, the way it's screwed, it sent them flying, right? So you could run up and get a few jab floats and get some really good carry off it. So I think now it's a little less carry, but you're also getting a full combo. Forward 1+2, change the damage from 515 to 817. So forward 1+2 is the chop. So this does more damage now. The first hit does 3 more damage, the second hit does 2 more damage. So not a ton more damage, but it does do more damage. Change the frame advantage upon hit from +5 to +7. So again, this is +7 now. Here's the real kicker, though. Decrease the distance between the character and the opponent when the move hits. So again, on hit, you are... Before this pushed you back a little bit, now you are still right at like range 1. You're still like right up in their face when this hits. So it is definitely, you know, prime time for mix-ups. Again, not sure exactly, you know, what options might beat it out. You know, if you go for, you know, what have you. Depending on what you go for after it, they might still be able to crush it. Again, I just need to test it more. But overall, that's much better. Change the opponent's behavior when hit in midair. I'm really not sure what this means. It seems to act the same way as it always did in midair. I really hope they don't mean that it took away the floor break on Forgotten Realm. Oh no. But right now, it seems to do the same thing it always did in midair. It just, you know, kind of knocks him back down. So I'm not sure what that one means, but overall, this move is, you know, this was always kind of an underrated move in my opinion. I didn't even use it enough. Because it's easy to confuse it with down forward 1-2, which is also kind of the same animation for the chop. But the difference is, this one is punishable on block. This one is not. This is safe. But now it does a little bit more damage, leaves you right up in their face, and it's more plus frames. So this is going to be a good mix-up tool on hit going forward. Down forward 1-2. So again, I was just talking about this move with the chop. Change the frame advantage upon hit from +5 to +7, so that's consistent with just the singular chop by itself. Decrease the distance between the character and the opponent when the move hits. So, change the opponent's behavior when hit in midair. So, kind of, overall, the chop, both the down forward 1-2 version and just the forward 1+2 version, just the singular chop, and when it's a string, have been changed the same ways. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about them on block though, so I'm sure this is still punishable on block, whereas this one is not. Down 1-2, change the damage from 8 to 6. Again, 2 points of damage nerf. This is, but in conjunction with the down 1-2, you know, Tatsu. In conjunction with Tatsu being -15 now, you know, overall, doing down 1-2 into something to get out of pressure is a little less viable. I mean, if you have meter, you can still do like a fireball into FADC, but overall, not a big deal. But it's there. Back one. This is probably my favorite new change. Change the damage from 17 to 15, so it's a little less damage. Okay, whatever. Another 2 points. Who cares? Reduce the strength of the pushback and made the move easier to land. So, what this means, I don't think that what they're saying there is actually what it means. Reduce the strength of the pushback. So before, when you did back one, you know, you do that for a lot of combos. You do back one into demon flip. And before, it sent them pretty far away, and it's really kind of hard to hit. But the hardest thing about it was that it was inconsistent. A lot of characters, it would just send them way too far away, and it would become like a just frame in order to hit it. You know, some characters, it would just knock them too far away entirely, and you just like could not get it at all. If you saw Akuma players drop this combo a lot, it was because it was very inconsistent what range it knocked them down at. So you'd go for your demon flip sometimes and you just straight up whip it. But now it should be pretty consistent across the board and much more consistent to land. So overall for Akuma players, this is a nice change. I don't consider this a buff as much as I consider it a fix, because I think it always should have been like this. I think that was more of an unintentional thing that was just going on with Akuma's combos before, was that the strength of the pushback here was like inconsistent. But now it seems pretty consistent. It seems to be the same across the board for all characters. So Akuma combos should just be much more consistent to hit now. Which seems kind of to be the trend here. Things have been nerfed a little bit as far as damage. Again, mind you, not really a lot to make a big difference, but they have been nerfed a little bit. But they're a little bit more consistent and easier to use, which perfectly I'm fine with. That's always been kind of the problem with Akuma, is that yeah, he can do high damage, but he's very high risk because there's a lot of stuff that is just inconsistent with the way he works, and is just, you know, very hard to use, and a lot of stuff's unsafe. So as long as we, you know, getting some options before that were always very good, but we're just, you know, prone to missing and messing up and being inconsistent, being fixed a little bit is a welcome change in my opinion. I think it's going to make this stuff a lot of his combos much more viable and easier to use in any given situation. I'm dropping it right now because I'm trying to talk, but you know. And lastly, down forward 1-2 is a brand new move, and this seems pretty good. It's a power crush. It's an armored move, just like his focus attack. And focus attack was already one of the best power crushes in the game, because it leads to, you know, the big crazy Akuma combos that do tons of damage always start with this. It's his highest damage combo starter. But, you know, the only weakness that it really had was that they could duck it. But now he has that, and he also has another power crush that is a mid, so you don't have to worry about them ducking this. It doesn't have that weakness like focus attack does. I think this is good. I'm pretty sure from me, I was testing it earlier, I'm pretty sure it's like -14 on block, so it is punishable on block, but, it still is a power crush, which is always good. Power crushes never seem to be as good as they look at first, so we'll see in the long run about how good this move is, but right now I'm pretty stoked on it. So yeah, that is Akuma's Season 3 changes, at least as they are listed in the patch notes. There might be a couple other stealth changes that I didn't find yet. Like I said, nothing's optimized right now. There might be something crazy you can get off the forward 4 counter hit. There might be some crazy stuff you can do with the Raging Demon connecting off a corkscrew now. But there's a few new things to play around with here. Overall, I think Akuma is more or less the same in Season 3. He got some pretty good buffs, but he also got, a few nerfs. Like I said, I think the nerfs are almost insignificant. Like I said, there's a lot of stuff where the damage has been decreased by like 2 points. I think the biggest nerf that Akuma has is heavy Tatsu being -15, being launch punishable on block now. I think that's definitely gonna change the way you approach a few situations. But the damage nerfs are really nothing to worry about, in my opinion. But he's got some better frames on some stuff, some better mix-up potential off like the chop, and off like forward 3 on hit, and just overall, I think he's a better character. I just don't know that he's that much of a better character that's going to make a huge difference. I think the thing that's going to make the biggest difference is definitely back one combo starter being much more consistent across the board, being much easier to land these style combos, and also the Raging Demon off corkscrew. Obviously that's just gonna make closing out rounds a lot easier. If you ever just need a little bit extra damage, you can just throw out your Raging Demon now, instead of having to spend your 2 meters, get to the wall, all that kind of stuff. Now you have a lot more options to just kind of like just end it, So yeah, I'm super excited about Akuma in Season 3. I'll be taking a look at Asuka too, maybe Jin as well in the near future. And like I said, in the coming weeks, stuff will get optimized a lot more, and we'll definitely follow up and talk about some of the more optimal stuff, and go over some of the comprehensive like new changes and combos that he can do, and might do like a Season 3 combo video. But yeah, as of right now, I like the changes. I'm excited about Season 3. It's a good time to be a Tekken player, man. Hope everybody else is enjoying Season 3. And that's all for today. I don't know how to end this. Oh, here's the new Raging Demon animation. When you close the game with it, it's pretty sick. It's super dope, man. See y'all in the next one.